The top priorities of this committee is the implementation of the NDS, which is prioritizes strategic competition with Russia. General Walters, you mentioned General Scaparotti, and we all hold him in the same regard as you do. Do you agree with his assessment that he mentioned last month, actually at this committee he mentioned that we don't have the right posture and capabilities in EUCOM for credible deterrence against Russia? What are your biggest needs in Russia? What do you think they are?
Chairman, I concur with General Scaparotti's assessment. As you well know, the NDS points out that our competitive advantage is eroding. I want to thank this committee for their assistance by delivering a predictable, sustainable, adequate budget that has afforded us the opportunity on the European continent to be able to improve our readiness. I'm able to make that observation as the current U.S. Air Force's commander in Europe. And what we see from 2016 to 2019 is an improvement in readiness. We're still not to the point to where we have increased our competitive advantage to where we've bought down enough risk, and I think that is exactly what General Scaparotti was alluding to, and I concur with his assessment. If we continue on the campaign of readiness that we are currently on, we'll be in a position as we start to approach the mid-20s to where I think we'll be in a place where we are comfortable with our competitive advantage.
That's good. We agree with that. There's some confusion right now what's going on in Turkey, and the fact that if they were to entertain using the S-400 from Russia, that we would have to have a second thought in terms of what we're going to do with our F-35s. And I think that yesterday a decision was made that we're going to withhold the activity, the training activity at Luke for these that we're going to be training there for the Turks, because they haven't yet, and they haven't said that they're going to use the 400, but they haven't said that they're not going to. I'd like to have your opinion as to if this action is probably an appropriate action, and then what your feeling is in terms of what their intentions are, even though they are unstated at this time.
Chairman, I concur with this committee's belief that the S-400 and the F-35 are not compatible, and if Turkey proceeds down a path to procure and operate the S-400, they should not get the F-35, and I believe that is the sense of this committee, and I concur with that decision. The system itself, the S-400, is incompatible from a standpoint because it speaks a different language than NATO English, and it certainly is not interoperable. I would contend that we all understand that Turkey is an important ally in the region, but it's absolutely unsustainable to support co-location of an F-35 and S-400.
Yeah, I would agree with that. General Townsend, you and I talked at some length about some of the problems in Africa. And, you know, we were recently in Djibouti, where we're not real sure what all China is doing. That we do know, though, this is the first out of the city limits base that they have. And it's my understanding that they may even be going as far south as Tanzania. Yet that's not confirmed. The time that we were there, and this is just a few weeks ago, we actually flew over the area. There's some debate as to what China is doing in Djibouti. What's your opinion in terms of have they gone underground? Do they have activities? Do they have resources there? I'm sure yours might be a better guess than mine.
Senator, thank you. You're absolutely right that China is choosing to compete in Africa, and they're competing hard there. You've rightfully pointed out their first overseas base outside the immediate confines of the first island chain is in Djibouti, and only a few kilometers from our base there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's beneath their base, but I'll make it a point to find out and probably report back in a closed session once I know that.
Yeah, and that would be perfectly acceptable. You got to keep in mind, China's pretty good at going underground. We were not long ago in the South China Seas, and of course they have 7 islands there that they have Well, our allies over there in that area have said it looks like they're preparing for World War III. And you have to wonder what they're up to in Djibouti also.
Well, certainly they have some open activities. They're trying to, further their economy, further their diplomatic efforts. They're also trying to protect those efforts with their military forces, just as we would. But I also think they have some activities that are not quite as open, and I have concerns about that. And I pledge that if confirmed, I will certainly look into that, because I think competition with China is something that
And we in this committee can assist you in getting a type of classified briefing that I think it probably deserves at this time. Senator Reed.